Hey, Conway, have a seat. How are you doing? You look good, by the way. Oh, thank you. Yes, I've been fine, I suppose. Listen, I wanted to talk to you because, well, there's no easy way to say this, but this just isn't working for me. I've got a list of like 15 or so restaurants in Conway that I haven't reviewed. Yep, that's it. There's a steakhouse, some Mexican trucks, a guy who sells baked potatoes out of a truck, and a fucking IHOP. I've been peppering in reviews in Little Rock for months and reviewing new menu items at fucking Taco Bell just to fill out my content. I mean, for fuck's sake, the best pizza in this whole town is the mozzarella garlic naan bread from Taj Mahal. There's just nothing left for me here. You know it, I know it, so I think it's best that we see other people. I mean, you deserve better. Well, you don't. You'll never have a restaurant reviewer that's better than me because, I mean, look at you. You suck. But what's important is, I'm moving on to bigger and better things. Uncle Tim's food truck is officially the greatest restaurant you have, now and forever. Goodbye, Conway.
Viva!
Little Rock.
Viva!
Little Rock. Hi, Little Rock. I'm Raiden Radio. I review restaurants and will be doing so here for the foreseeable future. I have a spreadsheet of around 300 restaurants, and every time I visit your town, a random number generator will pick a restaurant for me to sample and review. No one's asked me to do this, and in fact, quite a few people have asked me to stop, but I have strong opinions about food, an occasional foul mouth, and I use dancing anime girls in my videos because it seems to annoy people. You're stuck with me now, Little Rock, so let's do this shit. Ironically, we're starting off this series with the Purple Cow, which I could have reviewed in Conway but never got around to it. The Purple Cow is a small burgers and shakes micro-chain themed around classic diner Americana with a mainline injection of the color purple. But not the 1985 movie The Color Purple, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Whoopi Goldberg, nor the 2023 remake of The Color Purple, nor the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Alice Walker that they were based on. Or at least I don't think there's a connection between this burger restaurant and the tale of a woman overcoming abuse and bigotry in early 1900s Georgia. Mrs. Raiden and I went to the Purple Cow, and let me start by giving you my personal philosophy on what makes a great cheeseburger. Simplicity. A good cheeseburger comes from a well-seasoned beef patty, not too thick like you're eating a slab of meatloaf, but not too thin like you're eating a sheet of grill residue, nicely cooked on a soft roll, preferably Martin's, with few accoutrements. Cheese, maybe onion, maybe pickle, maybe mayo, maybe ketchup, maybe mustard. A great cheeseburger doesn't need an onion ring, a jalapeno popper, barbecue sauce, or a fried egg. Those things are usually getting in the way of what a great burger tastes like, which is beef. I say all this to say that the Purple Cow's burgers are not great burgers. They aren't well seasoned, they aren't cooked particularly well, and they aren't even of great quality. I'm pretty sure they're not taking ground beef, forming them into patties, and throwing them onto a hot grill. These are, quite clearly, frozen. And the reason why that's important is because they are charging fresh patty prices. The wife and I got 2 burgers, 2 sides of onion rings, and a milkshake to share. And our bill, not including tip, came to $45. Oh, and the onion rings fucking sucked. They also weren't seasoned and in fact were fried in bitter old fryer oil that desperately needed to be changed or filtered. No one will argue that the Purple Cow doesn't look cool or have a pleasing aesthetic, a nouveau nostalgia that oozes kitsch and charm, but it's all just lipstick on a pig. It's extremely overpriced and the quality just isn't there to justify it. It's the sort of place that I wouldn't be mad about visiting if it were roughly half the price. But for what it was, I felt like I was kinda ripped off. A 4.4 out of 10. Let me start by taking something immensely complex and boiling it down into an overly simplistic explanation, but the modern food landscape in Korea was heavily influenced by the US, thanks in large part to America's military presence there during the Korean War. The translation of food from one culture to another is something I find deeply fascinating. Foods traverse distances and become translations of a translation of a translation, with varying results of hilarity. See, for example, how angry Italians get seeing their cuisine translated by Italian Americans, who use heavy cream, way too much garlic, and putting chicken over pasta because fuck you, Giuseppe. Now, we Americans love our fried chicken, and when that love touched down on Korean shores, an interesting problem arose. See, here in the West, we almost always deep fry things after coating them in some form of wheat flour, but in the East, they fry using cornstarch, rice flour, potato starch, etc. These tend to fry up much crispier, so when Koreans tried replicating the fried chicken enjoyed by American soldiers, which takes much longer to cook than, say, a tempura shrimp, the end result was chicken that was so crispy it cut the roofs of people's mouths. A solution to this problem was developed by Young Yong-ye, who softened his fried chicken by coating it in a sweet spicy sauce that suited Korean tastes. And thus, Korean fried chicken was born and soon took the world by storm. Fried chicken that stays crispy even when coated in a variety of sauces. And here in Little Rock, it can be found at BBQ Chicken, a global brand founded in Korea in 1995 with locations in 16 countries. Mrs. Raiden and I went there and sampled some of the gangjang and honey garlic chicken. Now, the reason I went through the history of fried chicken in Korea is because some things about our fried chicken were lost in translation. Because while Korean fried chicken is tasty, it lacks depth. American fried chicken, particularly here in the South, is defined by being seasoned throughout, typically through some sort of brining or marination. Korean fried chicken doesn't have this. So once you bite into it and penetrate the sauced, crunchy exterior, the meat beneath is unseasoned and a little bland. I will also add that while BBQ chicken is tasty, they have definitely dumbed down the flavor profile to appeal to a global audience. So the spicy isn't very spicy, and the garlic isn't as garlicky. I mean shit, in Korea it's not uncommon to see people just eating raw garlic, or grilling it whole for barbecue. Still good, still worth checking out if you haven't, but it comes up a little short for that punch-you-in-the-mouth flavor department. A 6.7 out of 10. I hate the Root Cafe. Okay, let me explain. See, I went to college at the University of Oregon in Eugene, Oregon, which is an opioid-fueled hellhole. And the Root Cafe has a look and feel that is eerily reminiscent of cafes you would find there. The hippie bullshit stickers everywhere, the bullshit art all over the place. It even has the same fuck you, wait on yourself operation, while a half dozen employees scratch their septum piercings and glance at their Google Pixel 9 Pro with the phone case that says smash capitalism. I got some blueberry pancakes that were made with fresh blueberries, and it kinda sucked because they weren't good fresh blueberries. The pancakes also weren't cooked particularly well. A good pancake contains the flavor of caramelized butter fats, which gives them that rich golden brown color and nutty finish. But perhaps the tastiest thing I had at the Root Cafe was the delicious irony as I poured maple syrup from these little plastic non-recyclable cups, because they couldn't just put a bottle on the table, and looked at all the hippie nonsense plastered on the walls, and thought of the statement on their website with their stated goal of being, quote, better stewards for the environment. Being perfectly honest, the food at the Root Cafe isn't bad. In a vacuum, it's a fine place to get a 6.5 out of 10 breakfast, but everything from the decor to the setup where you basically have to be your own waiter, which strangely enough doesn't deserve a livable wage, it just pisses me off. 4.3 out of 10. Sort of strange, I'll admit, that I somehow ended up with 2 Korean restaurants in the same video, but here we are. K-Pot is a restaurant with basically 2 options: all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue and Korean hot pot. Hot pot is where you were given a pot of broth and a selection of meats, vegetables, and other accoutrements to flavor your broth with, along with either rice or noodles to accompany your creation. Korean barbecue is where you were given many of those same options, but with a grill in the center of the table to cook your own creations. It was hot as balls on this particular day, so the thought of a giant cauldron of hot soup appealed to me less than the barbecue, so we ventured down that path. Now, my history with Korean barbecue actually includes working at one of these restaurants while in college, so I'm acquainted enough to know that our experience was lacking in one key department: banchan. Banchan are the small side dishes that are typically served the moment you sit down in most Korean restaurants. Typically an assortment of pickled and fermented veggies. Kimchi, radish, cucumber, green onion, mustard leaves. Sometimes you see fish cakes and the like. They are meant to both wake up your palate but also to accompany the entire meal. And to be frank, what little banchan K-Pot offered kinda sucked, and it kinda brought down the entire experience. I like meat, don't get me wrong, but no matter how much there is or that it's as much as we want, contrast is what truly makes it sing. A little bit of crisp and tart to contrast the rich fattiness, you know? And just like with the Root, where you have to be your own waiter, once our server put a plate of meat in front of us and told us to get to work, it took the joy out of the dining experience for me. Maybe your results will vary, but after working in many restaurants for many years, no, I don't think I want to get back on the line to make myself a couple bites of flank steak or pork belly. I look forward to coming back here when the weather gets colder to try the hot pot, but overall I think K-Pot needs to lean much harder into Korean cuisine. Korean culture has taken the world by storm, and I think we're all ready to try more funky pickled veggies, fish cakes, and other gems that more closely resemble the genuine article. And I'm giving K-Pot, just the barbecue experience, a 5.3 out of 10. The random number generator seems to prefer Asian restaurants. I'm sure there's a joke to be made about computer programs and Asians, but I'm not going to make it. So if you get that, congratulations on being racist, I guess. You really make me sick. Anyway, I wasn't sure what to expect from a place called A.W. Lin's Asian Cuisine, but it is a vaguely Asian bistro located in that big shopping complex here. Now, to give a bit of backstory and lore, the wife and I are from up north, where truly great Chinese food comes from dingy, hole-in-the-wall mom and pop shops, where the kids are doing their homework in the lobby and you can spot one or two health code or building violations the moment you walk in. So from our experiences, the nicer a Chinese restaurant, the worse it actually is. And A.W. Lin's is too nice. Like a P.F. Chang's. Actually, it's exactly like a P.F. Chang's. Well, not exactly.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
It's like a P.F. Chang's, only the menu contains more variety and also a bit more flavor. We went there and ordered a couple lunch specials, the spicy scallion chicken and the Thai-style crispy chicken. And here's the thing, there was actual spice. The Thai crispy chicken was tossed in a chili oil and they weren't afraid to serve something with a bit of heat. The spicy scallion chicken was too sweet for my liking, but overall everything was considerably better than that devil's den of corn syrup. In fact, dare I say, I might even come back here again. Or at least I would dare to say that, if not for one thing. You see, while enjoying our better-than-we-anticipated lunch, we noticed something unusual about this restaurant. A song was being played throughout the restaurant. I think it was The Weeknd, but it was a cover. And not a very good one. This was followed by another cover, then another. Free Falling by Tom Petty, then Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You, then a Frankie Valli affair. Waves of visible disgust washed over us and only got worse as the meal carried on. But it does beg the question, what's worse? A terrible cover of a song you hate, or a terrible cover of a song you love? Food for thought, or in this case, the dessert. But that only raises a further question. Can horrendous music drop a restaurant's score? Well, it turns out yes, because while the food at A.W. Lin's Asian Cuisine was a 6.1 out of 10, the experience of having my eardrums repeatedly and continually violated for 45 minutes lowers that to a 5.4 out of 10. Just throw in some vaporwave or chill hop for fuck's sake. That's gonna do it for this go-around. If you're in the Little Rock area, let me know what destination I should review yet. Sub up, you pieces of shit, and I'll see you when I see you.